virtual people. Welcome to episode 5 of Fandom Spotlite's VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2021. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
Also on the panel today, our good friend over at VCR, Rick Barth, and the line guitarist Mickey Torres.
What's up, everybody out there?
And today we have a very special guest that's come to the VCR. From Dad Mented and the Punk Rock Geek Den, Craig Lucas is here.
How's it going, everybody?
All right, dudes. Today we get to talk about Pee-wee. I don't know about you guys, but I've been a lifelong fan. Before we pitch our take on how to write a new Pee-wee movie, of course, we got to talk about why we love Pee-wee. How did Pee-wee come into our lives? For me, it was VHS. I don't know, Craig, did you see the first one in theater? Or was it the HBO special? Was it Big Adventure on tape?
No,
TV?
actually, I started with the series. I did not see any of the movies until I was a little bit older. Yeah, I started with Playhouse.
Okay.
And
there's no wrong gateway drug into the Pee-wee universe.
Yeah.
So did you see Big Top first or Big Adventure?
I saw Big Adventure first, and compared to the show, like it was I love Pee-wee just because of who he is, and compared to the show, it was so much more in depth, and to me even like so much more humorous. Like it added a story to the character that I knew, who just kind of showed up and like played in this house with talking furniture and everything, but like it kind of gave him a little weird story too. Like it gave a little understanding, like, hey, he's just a weird guy all around, but it's cool. Because I was that weird kid, like I got banned from saying the secret word in my house so many times, almost every Saturday. That's just how much he meant to me. Like I loved Saturday morning cartoons, but like I think I waited for Pee-wee's Playhouse the most, honestly.
Hell yeah. Well put. Guys, Ian, Mickey, was it VHS? Did you see the first one in theaters or the HBO special maybe?
No, I didn't do the HBO special. I didn't think about until years later, or even really knew about, because like anybody, I think I came into the show. But the weirdest thing that I remember the most about Pee-wee and all that whole world was Big Top Pee-wee. I think I saw that, and then for you audience at home, you're gonna hate. I'm gonna say it again, but it's an HBOer. Big Top Pee-wee I saw first, and I remember it because they had this. This little creature that it was his wife, the Chris Christopherson's wife. And I always remember that. I was always like amazed by this
Midge. That's her by the name properly.
And then from that, of course, it's like you tell your parents, oh, I saw this movie, and you go to the store. Then I saw the VHS of Big Adventure and rented it, and I know we'll talk about it later, but Large Marge, man. That's all I gotta say is Large Marge. And we'll talk about it, but that was my introduction. Yeah, that's my introduction.
We're definitely gonna talk about Large Marge because she definitely deserves her own movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Series. I have dozens upon dozens of like stories of fan fiction I'm writing in my head for Large Marge. Mickey, what was your entryway into the Pee-wee verse?
All right, so I'm older, so it was the HBO special.
Yes,
I remember watching it, like it was late night because obviously it was more adult content. It was like 10 o'clock or whatever like that. And I can even remember the intro as far as like, HBO always had that cool intro with the HBO going through the city and everything like that.
I watched the making of that video, the making of that, like literally that HBO like bumper. I've watched that like 100 times. I love it.
That
so
was a classic bumper.
And
then an amazing bumper.
Then the best part is like,
really
as a kid, then you see like the R-rated like logo or whatever like that. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. And then
this HBO special is rated R. Materials of
I don't know when they started doing that, telling you why it was rated R, but that must have been. I think that had to be a 90s thing.
Yeah,
it was 80s. It was 80s.
Was it 80s?
I think it's like late 80s at the minimum.
Okay.
But anyway, so I saw it there, and I just remember going, what the hell is this? And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, kind of weird, whatever. And then I kind of forgot all about it. I was like, okay, well, I saw this thing. It was what it was. I think I remember like talking to some friends, and nobody like, well, they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, okay, I guess it's not cool, or I guess it's not whatever. I'm like, so I left it alone. And then my cousins were younger, and I think the first time I ever saw Big Adventure was with them on HBO, and then it was like Playhouse, and they always watched Playhouse.
Mhm.
But I was like, by that time I was a little older, whatever case may be, but I still loved it. I mean, Big Adventure for me was like, when I saw Big Adventure, I thought like, this is like the greatest movie. I'm like, well, we're talking about more about it, but like, the thing is like, I was older and I was already liking like hard rock music and everything else like that. And then to see Twisted Sister burn in hell, I was like, this is the coolest. Like,
one of the best cameos of all time. Hands freaking down. And also one of my favorite cameos is Pee-wee in Back to the Beach. If you guys ever saw that movie from the 80s.
Oh yeah.
It was like they were trying to bring back beach movies, and like
that's a VHS cover. I always wanted to get the movie only because I'm like, Pee-wee's in this.
And they put him on the fucking
Pee-wee
cover.
Herman.
Yeah. And he's in the movie for 5 seconds, and he rides off on like a jetpack. It's like, it's so baller. It's so boss. So I do want to touch on the chat real quick because it's already starting to grow a little bit. Our buddy Alex Bonafante says, considering his main audience is over 35, I say he find a production house that will allow for a movie with a hard R rating, or a show with a TVMA rating. Of course, the support characters will be the profane ones, while Pee-wee himself will remain unexplicit. I actually like that take a lot. There has been a lot of talk about an R-rated Pee-wee movie, and that's certainly going to be something that I'm going to talk a lot more about later. I'm going to force you guys all to go there with me. But we will get to that part. Also, our buddy Jerry Lahane says his comedy is unique. I also like the Tiny People movies. I guess he's talking about Midge. And Land of the Giants, Gulliver's Travels. Oh, okay. All right, I see what he's saying.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah.
And our good friends over at Retro Fiend Radio say Cheech and Chong introduced me to Paul Rubin as a kid. My folks smoked a lot of weed.
Oh my gosh, yes, because that's the one thing I remember the most was watching. He's in next movie, Cheech and Chong next movie, but he's like a main guy in Nice Dream. Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams.
Anybody want a hamburger?
Hamburger. And I remember just like, what is Pee-wee doing in this movie? And that's when you're a kid, you're young enough that you don't understand that it's Paul Rubens.
Yeah, like Meatballs too.
Yes, that's what. Yeah, he was the bus driver, and I'm like, what's Pee-wee in this movie? Where's his gray suit? Where's the bow tie?
Yeah. For the record, exactly. for the record, I saw Big Top in the theaters.
Wow.
Yep. Oh man, I did not. I never saw any of them in the theaters. I saw Big Adventure on VHS a gazillion times, and then Big Top I think I saw as soon as it came out on like rental or something like that. Yep. But I love Big Holiday too. I gotta
Oh yeah,
gotta give credit to the whole. It's a trilogy right now. We're aiming to make it at least a quadrilogy. And a lot of people just like missed Big Holiday for whatever reason. Like I think it should have been a theatrical release. Yeah. But other than that, like I really loved it. I thought it was a great movie. And it was true to like like if you didn't like Big Top Pee-wee, like Big Holiday is a good palate cleanser for you if you're like marathoning the Pee-wee trilogy.
It's a good intro into Pee-wee too. If like for any newer fans or anybody that didn't really even know who Big Pee-wee was or whatever, I think like you could watch that. It stands alone. Like I don't really think it's a sequel. I mean, I don't consider it a sequel. I think it's a standalone film.
I mean, they're all kind of standalone films if you think about it. Pee-wee has like this,
true,
almost like a James Bondish quality, where like you just put him anywhere on any adventure, in a new house every time, new girl, whatever. But one thing I will say For me, it's all about Dottie. It's all about E.G. Daily.
Oh yeah.
And when we, you know,
yes.
when we do get to our pitches, like I'm teasing a few things already that like Dottie's coming back, and you know, any version of Pee-wee that I can imagine.
I'm a rebel, Dottie, a loner.
Oh my God. And you know what?
Yes.
I absolutely love the version of Pee-wee, like the movie that they see in Big Adventure with James Brolin and Morgan
Oh
Fairchild.
yeah.
Oh, dude, like with the
Mr.
bike
Herman,
and like
paging
Sam-
Mr. Herman.
there's a message for you at the front desk.
Well, what I find so interesting about the Pee-wee franchise, you know, Mickey, you're talking about the special, when, you know, it was so subversive, and it's such a, you know, the whole point of Pee-wee was he was making fun of Mr. Rogers and putting in dirty jokes. I mean, that was the stage act, you know. Phil, and what was
Phil
it,
Hartman?
Yeah, was it the Underlings or
Groundlings?
Yeah.
You know, the whole point of this was to make fun of Mr. Rogers and to say, okay, this is, you know, Mr. Rogers, you know, kind of thing, and the audiences loved it. The genius part was producers in the audience who realized, wait a minute, that's actually a great kid's character. We can make this a kid's character. And so you feel bad for Paul Rubens at one point, you know, with this character, because this wasn't supposed to be where it went, you know, and he's so well known as Pee-wee. But what's interesting, and why I bring that up, is because of the show, they actually got rid of the special for a lot of years. You know, they didn't want that comedy special out there. So
wow.
HBO wouldn't re-air it because, you know, they don't want kids being tricked into watching this comedy special now with all the language and all.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's why I find it fascinating, Mickey, that you saw that comedy special. It's such a rare thing to see.
Yeah, and it tripped me up too, because I'm like, I mean, again, when I did finally see, like, you know, Big Adventure and the Pee-wee's Playhouse, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And
This is too wholesome. What the crap?
Yeah, but like, especially with my younger cousins watching this, and then, you know, like having the Wee Herman doll and everything like that. That's the
Did any of you have that doll?
My cousin
I totally did.
He had it. Yeah.
Oh, I never had it.
It's still around. I think it's still at my aunt's house or whatever case may be. It doesn't talk anymore. I mean, it's been so long.
Well, Pee-wee insisted there was like two types of like pull string talk dolls, and there was like one that ran with batteries and one that didn't. He insisted on having the one that didn't need batteries because he thought it would be better for kids, but that kind just like breaks down and dies. So it's kind of weird toy historians there.
The funny, like a side note, funny toy story is like the pull string. The first pull string toy that I ever remember was I had a Mork and Mindy pull string. I had Mork, and you would, you know, so it was Robin Williams, and it looked like, and, you know, just like him, and you would pull it, and he would just say like Nanu Nanu, you know, and stuff like that.
After 20 years though, it's like
I wish I still had it. I wish I still had it.
You know what? Like the Pee-wee doll and the Teddy Ruxpin talking tape doll. They were just like some of the coolest toys ever when they worked, which was not very often. One of those toys.
The 80s itself were cool toys. I mean, Craig, you were in the ultimate toy of the 80s. You know, Ninja Turtles. Yeah. I mean, you know, and it's so fascinating to me. So sorry, go ahead, Craig.
No, I just I got into toys big time, and like didn't have too many. Like I remember wanting all the Pee-wee collectibles, like Cherry and everything, and all I ever had was the doll, and it used to make me so mad. But my favorite, I wouldn't say pull string or anything, but like I'm glad they made like the 2000 remake of the My Pet Monster, because they made him talk.
Oh yeah.
And it's it's fantastic.
Oh man, I really want to get that. I loved My Pet Monster.
Yeah, I have him. He sits back there somewhere. He's on the dresser there.
That rules.
You know, it's fascinating too. You know, not to veer from Pee-wee for a little bit, but you know, this time period where you made a TV show really to sell the toys and all this stuff. I don't know if you guys ever remember it, but do you remember a show called Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you remember this show? Okay, this was one of those, like, it's a rare show that didn't really hit the stratosphere. But what's so creative is they had on the characters, they had this like cellophane that lit up, and they sold this gun that if you pointed it at the TV and shot these villains with this thing on their chest, your TV would flash.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Captain Power?
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, Captain Power. Yeah, Captain Power is Soldiers of the Future.
Yeah. Oh my God, I was obsessed with it. I don't even think I had the gun, but I still watched the tape, over and over again, because it was just like it was like a more kid-friendly Star Wars. Oh,
It was, and it was like, things like that, like My Pet Monster, where they would sell the VHS tape at the store, and you had to point your monster at the screen at one point in order for it to. Yeah, such a creative time for toys during this period. And I know Pee-wee was the same way. Pee-wee's Playhouse. I mean, my gosh, all the toys that you could get. I remember they had it where you could actually buy the genie and the door would fly open.
Yeah.
You
had
could
the play
buy
set.
that.
They had the play set.
And you get like Conky and Cherry and Terry and the whole
Pee-wee was also
cast,
the first Pee-wee's Playhouse was the first, like, that I remember, like, the VHS, like they were selling like VHS copies of all the Playhouse episodes and stuff like that.
That was mega marketing going on.
Yeah.
It was a cash machine,
Yeah,
kids just like wanted to consume Pee-wee. They loved Pee-wee. He could do no wrong until, did something a little bit wrong, but that's we're not going to talk too much about that. I do want to touch on the chat a little bit. It's a good point for me to do that. Jerry Lahane in the chat says, I created Predator and Ghost Rope for Star Trek and other sci-fi. Wow, that's pretty incredible. Congratulations, like, good for you. I can't believe you're watching. What are you doing? Why are you watching? James R. Young, our buddy James Young, says Paul Rubens in Below was a masterpiece in acting. Absolutely agree.
I was gonna bring that up actually. Besides Cheech and Chong, that's where I saw him, was in Below.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh wow, that's a wild entry point. Also Eric Ridgway, our good buddy Eric Ridgway says Buffy the Vampire Slayer was the best death scene of all time.
Oh my God.
That was great. And our buddy Mike Erday agrees. Pee-wee is pretty much James Bond. Definitely, he's just more well dressed, much more charismatic than James Bond. Our good friends over at Retro Fiend Radio say Pee-wee also does a song "Surfing Bird" on the soundtrack for Back to the Beach. I have the record. They say, God damn, Retro Fiend Radio is just the coolest friggin' place ever. If you guys aren't following Retro Fiend, you seriously need to be. They're incredible. They do a lot of cool docs on Canon Films. Our buddy James R. Young says he had that doll. Jerry Lahane also says, I ghost wrote for Stern 93 through 95, Private Parts era when free speech radio was all the rage, quite different times. I had a Munsters pull string. Wow. Jerry Lahane, you sound like a very interesting and cool dude. You got to come on the VCR and talk to us one of these days.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Cyclone Dave says we had the Pee-wee and Cherry. Oh man, Dave, that is just too friggin' cool. Now I know you're gonna be hoarding that over my head. Like, I got the Pee-wee toys and you don't. I really didn't get any of the other stuff. But one thing I did get later in life kind of made up for it. I did get a great book called Inside Pee-wee's Playhouse, actually written by our buddy Cassine Gaines, who was on our Howard the Duck episode. He's written about everything, so I just had to have him on for Howard the Duck. But that is a fantastic book if you want to understand like where Pee-wee came from and like up the groundlings and into the HBO show and like who helped develop the character with him and stuff. It's fascinating read. And like Pee-wee's whole trajectory in general is fascinating. If you think about going from Big Adventure, it's kind of this like cultish but still pretty big hit, sort of like a sleeper video hit, if you will. And then Big Top, they call it Big Flop Pee-wee. Like it's just like like it might as well have been over the top. Like I think they both cost a lot and made very little.
Yeah. The problem.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think the problem with Big Top is that it lacked a lot of like humor. I think some of the humor was like it wasn't as good as the first one, and I think it was just trying to be humorous. So I mean, and that goes with the writing. I mean, obviously the first one was written, co-written Pee-wee and Phil Hartman, and and everything else like that. So I think that that made it, immensely better. And the second one I think was just trying to go for laughs for the sake of laughs, like just put him in this ridiculous situation, but it just didn't connect, you know.
Is there a moment where he's like yelling at a pickle? Am I remembering that right?
The Piccolo Pukla brothers. He's yelling at the
No,
Piccolo.
the old guy.
That's-
The old guy's
yeah,
like treating
yeah.
him like a rock star because he wanted the pickle. He goes, "I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
that's-
pickle for Wee Herman."
Yeah. Sorry, ladies. Pee-wee can't wait. Anything else? I got a
Yeah,
pickle?
that's what I remember. Yeah, I agree. The thing for me is that the show was such a kitchen sink. Like all of it was the special, the TV show, and Big Adventure were all kitchen sink movies, right? Throw everything in there that you possibly
Absolutely.
can. And when I remember years later watching Big Top, I realized they tried to make a story. Like it's an actual like structured 15-point structured story. And I don't think Pee-wee belongs in that playhouse, right? That's the wooden treehouse that smells like, armpit. He doesn't belong in that playhouse. He belongs in the really cool, like everything just comes at you. And, and I don't remember who directed Big Top, but obviously without Tim Burton, that structure of Tim Burton was such a great marriage of, insanity. And I think I agree. I think that's where Big Top lost it. Not to get all analytical.
No. I mean, that's kind of what we're here. We're here to do a little bit. I mean, I still love Big Top, but like at the same time, it's super weird. It doesn't feel like a Pee-wee movie. It feels like a circus movie. Like the circus stuff feels a little off brand. Like him being on a farm feels a little off brand. Now, granted, I love it. It's a cool farm. Yeah, he's got the little James Bond entrance for him and the pig, and I love was it Vance?
Vance, yeah.
Yeah, and I love Vance. It's a cute thing. He has a talking pig, like okay, why not? And it harkens back to before they had to like CGI the mouths on animals and babies to like talk, and that's just
put peanut butter in its mouth.
Yeah.
I don't even think they did. I think they just like I don't even think they bothered. I think they just
it was just like a
close up on the pig's head, and it's like I don't know, Pee-wee. What do you think we're gonna do?
And then also and I understand, I mean, we'll talk about it when I have my little pitch or whatever the case may be, but he had a fiance, so they're literally like the first
movie, Miller.
Yeah, he spent the first movie kind of avoiding Dottie.
Oh, wow.
Like he didn't want any part of Dottie because he just he was what he was. And then in the second movie he's got a fiance and he's trying to go after the circus girl too.
Yeah, one of the.
Yeah, that's true. And it was what's her name from Hot
Shots?
And,
Yeah,
man.
One of the most
she was
romantic
amazing. She was like
moments in
everywhere
cinematic history.
from 88 to like 92. She was everywhere, and then just
Oh yeah,
gone.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But shout out to her. I know you're watching. I do want
even though we don't know your name, but you're still watching.
I know you're watching. I always forget her name. It's probably hard to pronounce. My apologies. Hit us up in the chat if you do know her name, and we'll feel stupid. I'll try and say it all wrong.
Or if you're in the chat, hit us up too. Tell us your name.
Yes, I know you're there. Typing away. So our friends over at Retrofiend Radio agree with us that Jerry Lehane's credits sound pretty incredible. Predator and Star Trek and Stern, amazing. Lia Paris, part of the team. Paul Rubens was great in Gotham. That's right. Oh, great call, Lia. Yes. Oh, I forgot all about that. And in Batman Returns, of course, reuniting with the magical Tim Burton.
Which is great because that's Pee-wee's the girlfriend from not the girlfriend, but the girl,
Simone.
The waitress Simone in the dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's them as Penguin's parents.
And that's part of like the magic too of Big Adventure is that it gives you, like you said, the kitchen sink, and all these things feel great. Like Pee-wee with bikers feels great. Pee-wee at like the Alamo and the rodeo feels great. Like, Pee-wee at the dinosaur park getting chased by Andy. Like it's one of the best like, B or C or D storylines ever. Large Marge, like it's all amazing. It's all incredible. Large Marge. I mean, we have to talk about Large Marge.
We got to talk about Large Marge.
She obviously occupies like a huge place in like all of our hearts, all of our minds, pop culture in general.
And it's half a second. Do you guys realize this? Large Marge is such a huge impact on all of our childhood, and it's half a second. If that doesn't tell you the power of film, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
Just that real quick.
Yeah.
And
we
that's
were
was-
all
I mean,
freaked out, you know.
and that's claymation too. That's
Yeah.
not
Oh,
even
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And that's the start of Tim Burton's whole thing. I mean, like if you think about like Tim Burton and what he would later come out with, like that was the precursor to it.
Yeah.
Obviously he had a Frankie Weenie and some other things, but that like a lot of his ideas that came later were put into that movie.
Well, you
So,
know what?
and-
We almost, this is a true fact. We almost didn't get Paul Rubin or Tim Burton. Do you know this story?
Yeah.
He was
Really?
supposed to, yeah, he was on board for Griffin Dunn's company to do After Hours. And he was all,
Wow.
Tim Burton was like in mid-production or mid pre-production, ready to get this all set up, when Martin Scorsese kind of, not rudely, but stepped in and said he wanted to try something different after Last Temptation of Christ.
Mm.
Wow.
And so Tim Burton, I mean, he didn't have the power that Martin Scorsese does. So he was
Of course.
pushed, he wasn't pushed aside. He was asked to resign.
Yeah.
With the idea that he would come back and do some, they would do some favors to bring him back. But Warner Brothers kind of threw him a bone and said, "Hey, we got this Pee Wee movie. Maybe we get Tim Burton to do this." And
wow.
it almost wasn't Tim Burton. If he might have done After
Yeah.
Hours. But again, how much of this movie had been changed without Tim Burton?
Oh, so much. Like
Large Marge, the dinosaurs. I still love that dream sequence with Francis.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
the bike, and the clowns.
The
and
clowns. Yeah.
oh
that-
yeah.
that claymation dinosaur comes up, and
Yeah.
just-
The dream sequence at the beginning is amazing too, where he's in the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
incredible. And the music. Oh my God, you have to talk about the music, because obviously this
Danny
movie is
Elfman.
why we have Danny Elfman, the
Yeah.
great Danny Elfman, and he begged and begged and begged to not do the movie. Tim Burton's like, "No, you're doing the movie. Like it has to be you." Like
Are you
I'm
serious?
fucking yeah. Oh yeah. Tim Burton's like,
Well-
he never composed. He hadn't like done any. He did like that movie,
Exactly.
The Forbidden Zone. Like that was about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't give a shit. Like I got a rock band. Like what do I care about? What do I know about all this stuff? And Tim Burton's like, you just make weird sounding stuff and it fits my brain perfectly. And it has to be you. And I mean,
want to
be today? Who do you want to be?
but I mean, think about it. For not only is an incredible film by a first-time director, but that is one of the great movie scores of all time, and it's by a first-time composer.
Yeah. Who didn't even
Yeah.
want to do it? Like I remember,
Yeah.
I just recently saw a story on Danny Elfman talking about his whole soundtrack career basically, and scoring career and stuff like that. And he talks about that, and he was just like, again, like you said, I just wanted to do Oingo Boingo. I mean, I had the band, I
Yeah.
had that thing. I mean, I never did a
you
score. I didn't
blame
know
him?
how that goes. I mean, like I know how to write a 3-minute, 4-minute song, but like I'm like,
Yeah.
Of course, well, then of course there's Tequila. The famous
Yeah.
Tequila moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Which
of course.
you can't. I don't think you can hear that song without thinking of Pee Wee. Do that Pee Wee dance. I remember doing that as a kid. Remember that song? Remember my dad would play that on the radio in the car. You do the Pee Wee dance and back and
Yep.
forth.
yeah. But that's
Of
it.
course.
That movie had so many iconic and so many classic scenes that like you just act out scene after scene after scene, and it's like everybody knows it. So it's like you can bust out the Tequila and start dancing like that, and everybody's like, "Who are you, Pee Wee?" And like, you could just do the Large March, tell them Large March sent you, and everybody's like, Pee Wee or something like that. Like they know that. That's like so classic, and that's what Big Top didn't have. It didn't have anything.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the only scene that I love, I mean, not the only scene I love. I do like the movie. I'm bashing on it too hard. But one of the scenes that I love is actually a stupid throwaway scene where like he's just walking around the farm and the Piccolo Poola brothers are juggling apples, and he's like, "Hey, throw me an apple!" And like before that, he's like, "It's the Piccolo Poola brothers."
Yeah.
Like I don't know why, but to me, it just cracks me up. They throw him the apples, and he's just standing there trying to catch it. He's like, and then just hitting him in the head, and he doesn't catch one. I'm like,
I love how when he leaves his fiance, Penelope Ann Miller, she goes then to the entire Piccolo Poola brothers or whatever. I'm saying it wrong. And another thing I love, I know you gotta give a shout out in Big Top, one of the first film appearances of Dustin Diamond. When he turns all the old people in the town back to kids, one of them turns into young Dustin Diamond. And a very early appearance by Benicio del Toro as the dog boy or whatever, which is so funny
That's
because
the one. Okay.
at like the height of his fame, he made the Wolfman. So like I just want him to write a book called like Benicio del Toro, My Memoirs from Dog Boy to Wolfman. Like it's just such a weird fucking career arc. It's such a weird trajectory. But I do want to touch on. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, Mickey?
Just before you go there, like, but that movie also was the start of like a more adult Pee-wee. He's like jumping on his fiance like at every second in front of kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I was actually gonna say. Like that's kind of what killed it for me. Is it lost? Like you lost everything childlike about Pee-wee. Like he was supposed to be this weird adult who was kind of like almost jerky in that movie. You know what I mean? Like he was a different character, kind of. It was still kind of the same thing, but like they got too off course with who he was trying to be. And I think that's why there's not so many memorable moments, is because it wasn't very childlike. It was supposed to be like, oh great, Pee-wee's got to be like an adult and do farm work, and he's not very happy all the time, and and like all these people are invading his space now, and now he's all crabby, and it just took a different turn.
Yeah. Big Top Pee-wee would have been better as Big Top Ernest. Let's be honest.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. It would have been so much better.
It would have been, and it's like, was it an Ernest script? There's like, let's try it over here. Let's try.
And to be fair, there's quite a few Ernest scripts that would have been better with Pee-wee. Like Slam Dunk Ernest would have been a fucking home run if it was Slam Dunk Pee-wee. I'm just saying. I'm mixing up my sports metaphors.
Look, can you imagine if it was Pee-wee Scared Stupid? That would actually work. It honestly, a Pee-wee Halloween movie would work.
Oh yeah, that would be incredible.
Wait, I want a remake. I want a remake of Ghost and Mr. Chicken with Pee-wee and Ernest.
Oh, there you go.
Or a remake of Ghost with Pee-wee instead of Patrick Swayze.
There you go.
That's like the only journey he hasn't done.
The Righteous Brothers are playing in the background.
Give me like Pee-wee's bogus journey. He goes to like Pee-wee's version of heaven and hell, whatever would be personalized for him. That would be great. So I want to do touch in the chat, and then
it's Large Marge that comes to the train station and hauls away all the ghosts.
I got dozens of movies for Large Marge. So I do want to touch on the chat, and then we'll get a little bit to like what we would do some more. So our good friend Richard Lynn says, never had a talking Pee-wee, but I do have a talking Freddy Krueger. That is incredible, and that is the hell of a mashup we need. Talk about Pee-wee Scared Stupid. Pee-wee in Dreamland would be incredible.
I know they pointed this out in the documentary about how much kids items for kids sleeping in bed were Freddy Krueger licensed, like kids pajamas, kids dolls, sleeping pills, for kids, all the stuff.
Sleeping pills.
Sleeping pills.
I swear to God, they did.
Jonathan, did you take your Flintstone sleeping pills?
I swear to God, this is weird stuff, but it's true.
You gotta take your forget about it medicine.
That's right.
Don't take your medicine. Freddy's coming. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Freddy's wife didn't take her medicine, and we all know what happened to her.
Get on the phone, act like you're calling Freddy instead of Santa Claus. He's not taking his medicine.
So also in the chat, our good friend Eric Ridgway says, I don't know if it's too far, but my 15-year-old boy pointed out when I forced him to watch it in between Alf episodes. You were raising that kid right.
Yes, Reggie.
But he said that if it was on now, it may be played off as a functional adult with autism show. I don't know. That's interesting. I never would have thought of that.
It brings up a good point, because I'm on the spectrum, and like how much I related to him and what he was doing. I could see it.
Oh, wow.
I could easily see it. Honestly. That's a good point.
That is really cool. Very insightful.
Well, what was a kids program that really, it honestly catches the attention and goes so fast that, I mean, I know Pee-wee was used as a formatting structure for other shows later on for just that exact reason. So no, I totally agree with you on that.
Also in the chat, Jerry Lahane again says Chaos, Tim Burton, and Pee-wee are a very good match. He also says the unexpected is the key. Again, we're just very honored to have you tuning in, Jerry. Thank you so much. That's actually, and I agree on all counts. Our good friend again, James R. Young from Punk Rock Geek Den says tequila. Cyclone Dave says, was she also in Police Academy 4? Oh, Valeria Galino, Richard Lynn says. That's the name of
yeah, I knew she was French or something like that too, right?
Yeah,
He was in
the
Police
Apple.
Academy 4?
I don't know, but she was the apple of Pee-wee's eye in Big Top. Jerry Lahane also says Elfman, early MTV hit I Love Little Girls. That's a great song though, I will admit. It's a crazy lyrics, but it's a catchy tune. Cyclone Dave says Benicio Dog Toro. That is great. That's just great. Jerry Lahane says sexualized Pee-wee breaks the rules. I agree. I do not want to see Pee-wee like picking up chicks or going to like a strip club or any of that. There's certain things you don't do with Pee-wee. Elia Paris from Fandom Spotlite says what we need is the Pee-wee and Howard the Duck crossover. Oh, give the ladies what they want, she says. I could not agree anymore. Thank you again for watching, Lia. We are honored to have you. James R. Young says, rip Jim Varney. Sad but true. He died too young. Alex Bonafonte says they should have made a Pee-wee G.I. Joe complete with bicycle. And I don't know. He says a fake horror. Jerry Lahane
that would have been awesome.
And Jerry Lahane says a fake horror movie would work. Example, haunted house like Monsters. Yeah, that actually would work really well. So, I mean, do you guys have any hot takes, anything ridiculous that you want to see? I always remember Cassine's Howard the Duck Taxi Driver. Do you want to see like the Herminator? Like, that's a mashup that someone made that was brilliant. Like Pee-wee, Pee-wee versus, Terminators and Skynet. Like, is there something ridiculous that we have?
Oh, you know what? I would love, like, if you want to get really silly with it, I would like a face-off between Pee-wee and Mr. Bean.
Ooh. Rowan Atkinson is another incredible.
I would just love to see them two interact. Like, Mr. Bean doesn't say anything. And like, you can have Pee-wee go, what? Can't hear you.
That'd be great. Yeah, the buddy cop comedy. One guy never shuts up and the other guy doesn't speak at all. That'd be amazing. Take my freaking money, dude. Oh. I think we're done. We have to just close early now because Mickey just crushed that.
This is it. It's been
rush hour.
Night,
yeah, it's been great, but we got it done in 37 minutes today.
You do rush hour with Pee-wee and Mr. Bean.
All right, that's pretty good. I did, oh God, that's so good. I can't really compete with that, but I'm gonna try real quick. But I will say, we love Pee-wee, but there's a lot more in this universe than just Pee-wee. I seriously straight up want to see a Large Marge movie, like a hard R, canon style, truckers, bikers, punks, ninjas, explosions, the mob. Like I know Large Marge.
Somebody out there has written a fan fiction book about the true story about Large Marge. It's out there. If you're listening, send it via Fandom Spotlite or Hollow Knight Network. Please, we want to read this. I want to read this fantasy.
I have no idea who would write such things.
That movie.
No clue.
That movie would be like The Conjuring or something like that, because Large Marge is just, she's driving up and down the highway picking up people, and it's like this is such a
look.
It's
I'm
like
gonna
it's creepers.
Happen.
It's
I'm
like
gonna mess
creepers.
I'm gonna mess with you all right now. Think about your basement right now. All right, just picture in your head, even you all at home. Picture in your head right now, down in your basement, all the lights are off. Now, imagine you're walking downstairs. Look in the right side corner and picture Large Marge right now. You're going to freak yourself out. I don't care who you are, but now you're thinking about it and you're not going to go down there. Even if the bathroom's down there, you're going to pee in a bottle. I know it.
You're telling me that you want the Blair Witch ending for Large Marge at the end? She's standing in the corner just like making out with herself and like,
listen,
oh my God.
Chris, you can act all tough all you want, but if you saw that, you would poop your pants and then you'd faint and that'd be it. Don't act like it
would be a mudslide of death. I concur.
Yes,
100,000%. Yes.
I agree. That'd be such a cool movie, Large Marge. Oh my God.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like this is
Hollywood. Hollywood, you're stupid. You're just stupid.
You're just stupid because you've had this shit. You've had the rights for like 30 years. Paul Rubens, like that should have been the first thing that happened when like his show, got pulled off the other. Should have been like, all right, let's make a movie about Large Marge. We'll like write him, we'll credit Paul Rubens as executive producer. No one will fucking know. He'll make tons of money. We'll all be happy. And then in a couple years, we'll bring Pee Wee back. You know,
well, Pee Wee could tell this story. Pee Wee could be like, you know, like have a bunch of kids at the playhouse or something like that. I think that's the intro of the movie, and he's at the playhouse. He's like, "Let me tell you about Large March." He could be in the woods, like telling a ghost story, and then it's just from there it goes into the story of Large March.
Only if he has a mullet. Like remember the Indiana Jones, young Indiana Jones, and like Harrison Ford showed up as Indiana Jones that one episode, and it was like a mulleted Indiana Jones. Cut his hair, yeah, that's what I want. I want mulleted Paul Rubens.
Oh my God, yeah. Pee Wee is begging for like the Joe Dirt coming out the back.
Joe Dirt,
the Alabama waterfall, the Tennessee top hat.
The Tennessee top hat.
I would say, and people out there are going to probably destroy me, but honestly, I would love to see Tim Burton reunite for Pee Wee's Big Adventure, only because again, I think it's been that was the formula that worked. And again, I'm sorry I haven't seen Holiday yet. Or not Holiday, whatever.
Big Holiday.
Big Holiday.
I haven't seen that one, but I just think that formula, the chaos, like we were just saying, the chaos works. I think Tim Burton brought such a chaos because even the Large Marge scene, you know what makes that work is that little animated eyes that come before it. There's this little scene where Pee Wee's by himself, and it's these really cool eyes that like move not normal.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it, he's like, "Is there anything else here?" He turns on the lights on the raccoon.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's when he's hitchhiking and it's like in the dark.
Nice kitty.
Yeah.
Nice kitty. But I think to me, I would want that. Whatever it is, I would want Tim Burton's, even if he's producing it or just helping with the screenplay, something of that nature to bring that story. Yeah. But I also, if I can pitch this, I want Francis's revenge.
Ooh.
Okay,
yes, dude.
I forget the actor's name. I know
Mark Holden.
Mark Holden. I love Mark Holden.
Yeah.
He was great as Francis, and that jumpsuit he's wearing, pure genius of costume.
Brilliant.
And I always wanted to fake gum just for Francis. I always wanted.
I think the bathtub scene where he's in the pool is like one of the funniest moments in movie history for me.
It's so good.
Nobody can hear you. Yeah. If he came back, he would have to have his own version of the bike. That would be the thing. The kicker off like, I don't need your bike because I got my own, and it's like a replica of Pee Wee's bike, whatever like that.
It's Francis's revenge, and they have to do the rad racing.
The rad race.
The rad race.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Chris. Exactly what I was thinking. I was like, they're gonna have to have a race because one of them.
Get ready to break the ice.
And then I want Twister's sister to come back out on the track and do, Burn in Hell. They're doing another video for it or something like that. But if I had my way, and like I would love Tim Burton to come back, but it would ruin a little bit of my rom-com theory that I would love of Pee Wee and Dottie. And like my whole thing is like, I don't know where they're at. Like if we're going with the Big Holiday and he's in Fairview or Fairville or whatever like that, I don't know, because Pee Wee always seems in all these movies, he always seems to be in a different location. I don't know where he's at, but let's just say he's in some area. And that how Big Holiday did the whole thing with Joe Manganiello, whatever like that, where he had to go to New York to go be at his party or whatever. I want Dottie to come appear out of nowhere. And Pee Wee all of a sudden like has all these feelings, and he's just like, what's this? And he falls in love with Dottie. He's like, he realizes, oh man, I let this one go away.
And here's Spandau Ballet.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then like all of a sudden, like, Dottie's like, oh, how you been? This, that, whatever like that. He's like, oh, how you doing? And she has a bike shop, but now she has a bike shop in like New York or something like that. So she has So she's like, I'm only in town for like, a weekend. I just came to visit my family, whatever like that, my parents, whatever it could be. and he's trying to like make plans with her, but they just don't. They don't get together or whatever case it be. And then she goes away and she's like, all right, well, here's my number, this, that, whatever, or my address, whatever. Come visit if you're ever in New York, whatever like that. And then there's the story of Pee-wee trying to get to New York to go, after the love.
Pee-wee's ultimate adventure. He's in California. She's in New York. He's got to travel across the country and get to all these different places. And following him is Francis.
Ooh.
Could be.
Yeah, I like that.
Could be,
because house thing.
Yeah, because Francis can't. Because you know what? Francis loves Dottie now.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Oh my
Francis
God, this
loves
is perfect. Holy cow, that's amazing.
Not only does he want his bike, he wants his girl. He wants everything that Pee-wee has. Everything that Pee-wee loves, he wants it.
No.
Yes, and Francis has like all this money now, so he's built like his house to be like Pee-wee's. He has all the toys and stuff, and he has like a weird room and a pole, but like it just never works for him. Like he falls down the pole always. He steps on the toys like when he gets out of bed. Like it's just a failure. He's trying to be Pee-wee and it doesn't work. This is actually very similar. Very similar to what I had in mind.
As long as you see a picture, of his dad on the wall, and it's with the gross gum in his teeth. He's like, would you like some gum?
Oh my God. So I hate to break up our groove. We are getting good, but I do want to touch on the chat. It's been going a little while. So Kyle says Valeria was not in Police Academy, but she was in Hot Shots, of course. Thank you for checking the facts on that. Eric Ridgway says no one needs to talk about any post-Gutenberg Police Academy. They don't count. Eric, I completely agree. Although I know this is the one time Ian likes the later sequels. He likes 4, I think.
I do like 4 too.
No, I love 6.
You, of course, you like everything that's weird.
I like
your favorite Batman's Val Kilmer.
Forget you, Ridgway. Forget you now, man.
Forget you.
We're done.
I got your back, Ridgway.
The audacity of you people.
Welcome to the VCR, my man. Ian is huffing and puffing, and that's
Matt McCoy is amazing. I'm done with all of you.
This is how we know the VCR is nice and warm now and ready for that like perfect tape, ready for that triple movie taped off TV special.
It had Garrett Graham in it, for God's sakes. Enough of this.
Yo, it's all about Commandant Lassard. I don't care what anyone says. Very, very nice. Cyclone Dave, our buddy Dave Maresca, looking for plus size lingerie. Come to the basement of the Alamo. Tell him Large Marge sent you. Man, that's good.
Wow.
Yes. Jerry Lahane says 2 physical comedian masters. I think he's referring to Mr. Bean and Pee-wee, of course.
Yes.
Cyclone Days. What about Pee-wee's Wasteland Playhouse in the Snyderverse? Oh, dude, that would be amazing. Yes. I love it. Somehow in that dark fucking future of the end of Justice
nightmare
League,
sequence.
The nightmare with a K, Nightmare. Somehow Pee-wee's still alive. Of course he's still alive. He's got his own farmland with the hot dog tree.
It's not Jared Leto. It's not Jared Leto with a mullet. It's Paul Rubens with a mullet, and he's just like,
Dude, hashtag Pee-wee as Joker, make it happen. Hashtag make it happen.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. Also in the chat, Alex Bonafonte says deepfake Pee-wee as the gunny in Full Metal Jacket. Part of the magic of the magic of the first is it's a kid's horror movie in certain ways. Oh, okay, right. I see what you're saying.
I agree.
Pee-wee learns about the birds and the bees, and Jerry Lean says you guys nailed it. You, sir, nailed it with everything you've done. Again, with standing invitation to come on the show, Jerry. So it's funny. I was sort of thinking about it today and I was like, all right, I want to do a Pee-wee finds his family movie, but you start out like and this is the thing, it ended up being like my twist was that his family would be Dottie and it would be everyone at the Playhouse and like Captain Carl and King of Cartoons and Conky and Cherry and Terry and like
Wait a minute.
At the end of the movie, he would realize that like that's his real family, and of course, Dottie is a huge part of that. And then Dottie.
But they're not related though, right?
No, they're not related. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be related to be family. Family's in your heart. Family's who you love.
Yeah.
No. But I just want to make sure that we have Dottie and Pee-wee as husband and wife, or like they got to be together.
Yeah, they're gonna get together, and they're gonna fucking have to raise. What's the kid, the red-haired kid who's always in trouble on the Playhouse, the puppet?
Randy.
Randy,
yeah.
Oh, Randy.
they got to raise Randy or something. Or they got to
I'm a
take in,
foster kid, Pee-wee.
yeah, or they got to take in some kid somewhere, and then he's gonna live in the playhouse with them, and it's gonna be super happy. The super happy fun ending. What's it?
Only if at one point, and it has to be him, Pee-wee has to face the Matrix with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes, with Cowboy fucking Curtis.
Dressed as the cowboy.
Yes.
It's like, Pee-wee, there's a pill.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I need it all. Canned cartoons, Penny, just give me like Jambi, and it needs and shout out to John Paragon who played Jambi. It was written about John Paragon that he was so talented. He was a groundling with Pee-wee and Cassandra Peterson, who would later on be Elvira, who also is in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. A lot of people don't know this, but when they're in the biker scene and they're all thinking of ways to kill, I say we hang him, then we kill him. I say we tattoo him, and then we kill him. I say you let me have him first. Yeah, that's Elvira.
That is.
I think the character's name is credited as Biker Mama. And I could almost see her being like Elvira's kind of like southern sort of rednecky biker cousin,
That's a whole movie in itself.
Oh my God, right? Pee-wee and Elvira in a movie. And that was the other thing I was gonna pitch was give me because I've you mentioned Matrix, Ian, and I was thinking about this. This new Space Jam movie is supposed to be LeBron gets sucked into the Warner Brothers verse, right? And everything, The Shining and The Matrix and probably End of the Dragon, all this stuff, right? It's all gonna be part of it. And I want a Pee-wee get sucked into the 80s verse. And if digital de-aging didn't suck, have him getting sucked in a Stay Tuned type of movie. He's in Commando and he's got to shoot dudes with Arnold, and then he's in First Blood, or he's in just all these ridiculous Harry in the Head, just get everybody and everything in this big Pee-wee Endgame movie where it's just this
what about
1980s party.
What about if you have him in modern day? I mean, Pee-wee just doesn't get modern day stuff. We've never seen Pee-wee use get online or anything like that, or whatever the case would be. So what if it's just more of a modern day? I mean, I know Big Holiday was kind of modern day, but he didn't have to interact with anything. He gets sucked into this world where it's just technology based or something.
Pee-wee and Tron.
Oh,
dude, that would be dope. Though,
only if Francis is dressed like David Warner with just all the helmet and stuff, but he can't move. He's just
okay. First of all, new rule number 1: whatever the Pee-wee movie is, David Warner has to be in it. Absolute fact.
David Warner
can't go out without David Warner, because he could play anything. I love David Warner. He could play a bum, a scientist, a president, a senator, a snob. I think
he's played all of those, Chris.
He's definitely played all of those. And he's fresh off of hunting teenage vampires, and now he's ready to help Pee-wee take on a zombie apocalypse. Let's get some fun here. So the chat's going still. I can't believe it. But James, our good buddy James R. Young, says Rob Zombie was once a production assistant on Playhouse.
Oh, far out.
My mind is blown. Imagine Pee-wee in a Rob Zombie horror movie. That would be Pee-wee's Playhouse of 1,000 Corpses. Oh,
that was kind of gonna be my pitch, in a way. I want to see
Oh my gosh! There it is, Chris. There's your new one.
Hit us with your pitch, and then I'll get to the rest of the chat.
I honestly want to see Pee-wee, falling down. Pee-wee's had enough. He's they took my bike, and they made me. All these circus people made me do this stuff, and I've had enough. And he goes on some crime spree, selling counterfeit magnets for your car,
Yes. I love this.
And then you just involve the Playhouse, that's his criminal way. He becomes almost serial killerish with those 3 girls from what was that? From Big Holiday. Remember the 3 bank robbers?
Oh yeah.
Yes. He just gets in with them.
Sir.
Oh, you got the ultimate.
That is brilliant.
You got the ultimate trailer moment. Oh my God! It's murder. That's the magic word. Chair flips out.
Points a gun at someone. Is there something you'd like to say to the rest of us?
Yeah.
What are you drinking? Tequila.
Oh my God, that is absolutely incredible.
Well, I would love that. Now,
That's
Tim Burton
insane.
could do that. I think Tim Burton could do
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
An
God, yeah.
R-rated version of that. Oh,
Oh, hell yes.
Somebody's
Dude,
like,
I
"What are
love
you
it, and
gonna
I
do
did.
next?" Shh, I'm listening to reason.
Yeah, he's like, he might shoot someone, but instead of Two-Face flipping a coin, he listens to imaginary reason. Like,
Yeah, he gets that giant ear. Someone's begging for their
Yeah.
life. What?
what?
Oh my
Come on,
God!
buddy.
He sits in front of a gas
would-
station and he flips the coin like freaking Harvey or Bardem and No
Yes.
Country for Old Men. but
Oh
it's
my
Pee-wee.
God. No Country for Old Pee-wee. That would be fucking incredible. Oh,
I guess it's not your lucky day.
I'll tell you what though. Hot take. I'll fix a, because and I got to shout out because I actually did do a falling down Pee-wee poster a long time ago, which was brilliant. And again, I want to shout out my buddy Anthony Ramirez because he just did one today in honor of this episode of the dudes from Point Break flying through the air, and then there's Pee-wee flying in, and it's like, you're a crazy son of a bitch, Herman. Like, I'm like,
yes.
dude, take a fucking bow. Him and Matt Sharp do incredible mashups. Find them both on Facebook.
See, like a childlike, like crime spree horror movie is so in. Like I would be so into like Pee-wee does horror. Like
Yes,
here's
right?
this kid star who's had enough, and
Like, if you ever saw a movie called Big Shots, like it kind of
Oh,
feels
yeah.
like that a little bit. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
Mickey's seen Big Shots. He's the reason I saw it. Dude, when your friends hit you with cool movies, you watch them, especially if they're from the
Absolutely.
80s.
for sure.
So we do have a little bit more action in the chat. Joseph Davis is not just Pee-wee, but Paul Rubin's other crazy roles. Like he's got to team up with his Buffy role. Oh yes, the Paul verse. Yes,
Yeah.
Joseph Davis. Oh my man.
How
I
cool
love
would
that.
it be
Only
if he ditched the Pee-wee? If like like he starts off as Pee-wee and then he just ditches it and goes into another character.
They all exist in the same universe.
Yeah.
Like Pee-wee
It's like
is
John
the
Malkovich?
hero.
Yeah.
Yes, Pee-wee is the hero, but like his character from Buffy is the villain.
Being
I was even
Pee-wee?
Yeah,
thinking about
Pee-wee's
this.
got to like save his reputation. Like
Yeah,
he's
see,
gotta
I was
go
actually
through the
going to pitch
line.
that too, is because I wanted there's all
But
those
the
rumors about that
hero
hard R.
the hero has to be the guy from Dunstan Checks In, which is probably the
Yeah!
best Paul Rubens
Oh my
ever.
god, I forgot
love
about
that.
that. Holy shit.
Him as that
Yes.
exterminator he's the
Oh
man
my
in that
god.
movie.
I can't believe they put him in that. That was like, it's a little soon. Like
Yeah.
That was a
couldn't
little
tell it was him and like,
It's all
Buffy
right
and
after,
Batman
yeah.
Returns, It was
And then
absurd.
he goes on he goes in the street and like there's like dude in like one of the food carts going like, you want a hamburger?
Hamburger.
Oh my god, incredible stuff. So I mean, is there anything else we want to throw in here? Any other hot takes? Anything we haven't, mashed in there that we think, we need this in the R-rated movie, or we need that, or
The only thing I would say is if they repeat, Big Adventure at the very end, it's not James Brolin, it's Josh Brolin this time. That's the only thing that will sell me at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
I want that full-length movie actually a lot with James Brolin or Josh Brolin or whoever. And someone's done mashup posters for it. They're absolutely beautiful. I don't know who the brilliant mind that made those are, but I want those in my life. I want the movie to be real. And I want, honestly, everything we've talked about is incredible. You guys are much smarter than me. I'm just like, yeah, I was gonna say what you said. I swear I was gonna say it. Like, I'm just riding all your coattails here to script success. So we'll give everybody a chance to give a message to the fans or plug anything coming up. Craig, do you want to tell the people a little bit about Punk Rock Geek Den or Dad Mentor or anything?
Yeah, sure.
In the works?
We have a lot of stuff in the works. We have a lot of guests coming up. We've got Mike Ladon from Chaser coming up. We've got Dennis Jagger from 10-Foot Pole coming up. And there's a lot of other stuff in the future I can't really mention yet, but there's a lot of stuff in the works. It's so much fun. Like I never thought I'd be doing any of this, but it seems to really be like taking off. And I'm basically working every day with my best friends, so it's a whole lot of fun. Like
That's awesome, right?
We just have so much fun doing it, and we have a lot of stuff coming up in the future. Same with that, man. I really took time off and made that kind of like a meme thing going on, but I have so much on the website, like from blogs and recipes and everything. So I'm just really building that up and really trying to come back into that, and that's pretty much what I got going on.
That's awesome, man. If y'all watching at home, you got to check out the Punk Rock Geek Den. It's incredible. Some really cool dudes having some really good times and a really funny show. And you know, they've had some pretty cool guests as of lately. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Mickey, Ian, anything you guys got coming up in the works? Anything you want to tell the people at home?
Well, look, as a teacher, kids, if you're watching, hang in there. Summer's almost here. Get your homework assignments in. Please don't just do the math game and just say, I don't have to do anything. Do the work, please. Thank you. Or else large Marge will come after you in the basement.
Large Marge coming to get you.
Or we'll have to call Freddie and like tell him you're not taking your sleeping pills.
I swear to gosh, this is true. I'm telling you, this is a
Freddie, Pee-wee, and Jason. It's a perfect it needs to happen.
Yeah.
We don't need it. I would like to Ash, but hey, if we don't get Ash, we get Pee-wee. That's
nice.
Mickey, anything coming up, bud? Any chance of a Rick Barth and the Line show on the horizon anytime soon?
I don't know. Right now, as it is, like it's just he's playing around by himself, and you should go see him. So follow like Rick Barth nj.net or .com, whichever one it is. I don't remember offhand, but try to check him out and see if you can support. He does awesome covers. He does awesome originals. Check that out. Hopefully we'll get together, start working on the music and get in the studio and start recording some of this stuff. So that's the next big plan for that. As far as for me, just check me out on all things Hollow 9 and of course VCR.
Right on. I definitely have to double back on that. Everyone at home, thank you so much for watching, and you guys here, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
do you want to mention
so much for having me?
It's an honor.
Thanks for being on.
So much fun, like especially with Chris, like even having you as a monthly guest now on our thing is just it's fun.
I'm honored. I feel like
you are an awesome dude, so I enjoy doing this.
You are too kind. I had a great time with you guys. I feel like I get to be the king of cartoons coming over there on a regular basis. But I do want to remind everyone at home, be sure to stay tuned to Fandom Spotlight. Come back on Monday for our Army of the Dead discussion and review panel, and come back next Wednesday for our VCR episode on Gremlins, which should be a whole lot of fun. Until then, guys, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and keep analog alive. We'll see you at the movies.